Oh, there we go. You're live. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Hi. I am live. Hi there. Welcome everybody. Sorry, this is the first time I've gone live, and so I obviously do not know what I'm doing. So, sorry about that. I was going to do this through Zoom and bring on my beautiful friend Rayania. However, I haven't figured out how to do that. Maybe we'll do that next time. So anyway, welcome. Thank you, everybody who's here. Looks like we have quite a few people. So my intent for today is to have this as just an organic meeting, so to speak, get together. I feel like that I've been guided to just show up and share some information and allow for questions from whatever comes up with people. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I really feel like that it's time to create community. And so this is what I feel like that we're here to do. We're here to connect and create community. And I really wanted to express the actual creative process and who we are as multidimensional beings. And my desire, I guess, is that people who are brand new to waking up might find this and might have a space to be able to voice whatever their concerns are, their questions are, and feel like that they can learn and step into it. It's a little bit weird not having my co-host here with me. Rayania, are you able to communicate?
I can speak with you through the Zoom.
Okay, good. Well, it's nice to have you here. I would love to be able to have you show up on the screen, but obviously we're not able to do that. I'm hearing it double though. The problem is I'm hearing myself twice, I guess, when you're on that screen. Yeah. I've lost the YouTube screen. There we go. So, gosh, I feel a little bit off balance. So I'm actually going to go in the energy here just because the whole introduction and, not being able to go live in the way that I had anticipated a bit threw me off. So what I want to do is just kind of bring the energy in a little bit. So I'm just going to close my eyes for a few minutes and just go into the energy with everybody who's here and expand what we have so that I can really bring in this container a little bit better. Ooh. So if anybody wants to join me, you can just close your eyes and take some deep breaths. I'm just going to expand this energy, and we're just going to call forward whatever is in the highest and best. I'm just going to bring in the energy into a place of center and peace. For those that are new and don't know me, my name is Cathleena Hailley, and I am a frequency alchemist. And I have a website, CathleenaHailley.com, that you can check out some of the courses and activations that I do. I've been guided to come here every other week and show up and share some of the knowledge that I have. My particular consciousness is a pretty large library of information. I carry the 0 point for all frequencies. My consciousness is not of this universal complex. I carry some of the original creator codes, the original human genome and human blueprint. And so what I recognize that my reason for being here and why I chose to incarnate in this time is to just a lot of energy here to really clear, to through activations, through awareness, through communication in all different ways, through the geometry that is naturally my being, align and clear those energies and frequencies that are not authentic, not genuine, not you. It's kind of what my whole being is about. I'm doing it through, sound, light, frequencies, just speaking. I'm not arbitrarily speaking. I'm in the energy. There's a lot happening. But really what I was feeling about this, and I think for today, which I can feel a lot in the solar plexus, I think there's just a huge amount going on in the collective. There's a lot happening. And I just really want to come in and right now I'm just bringing everything into a calm for all of you that are here, and just beginning to bring in a great sense of presence. I feel like that what we're all being called to now is sovereignty, just extreme levels of sovereignty. And sovereignty simply means self-governed internally. And, being able to be in full sovereignty with self is really being fully present. It's allowing yourself just to show up who you are. And kind of my mantra is that I'm going to keep my heart open no matter what. And I'm going to feel, because what we're being guided is to think, not feel. And so I just feel like that's what I'm here to show up as, and to explain and to just be. Right now, it just feels like I'm just sort of organizing what I'm feeling in the geometries. So I feel like what wants to come through, and many of you that know me may have heard some of this before. So there might be some repeat, but since this is being streamed live and will be recorded on YouTube, I'm hoping that this will reach a tremendous amount of people in terms of just information. And I feel like what wants to come through is just giving a little bit of clarity about who we are, just as these beings of light. We are consciousness, and consciousness, this is different from the conscious mind. Consciousness, or God, if you will, God consciousness, is information. It's really like infinite calibrations of geometries. And you can think of geometries as just like circles and squares and triangles and so on. And that's really what source is. It's just infinitely calibrating. And, you are a unique calibration of source consciousness, or if you can think of source as like this giant library of information, and you're a unique library of information, and so am I, but you're unique to me, different, but you're important to the giant library called source. And if we think about this just in our day-to-day, what that means is that if you're this library of information and your geometry, that means that you, as you decide to show up, as you get to know you, as you show up in the world, there is a beautiful synergistic connection with all things in relationship to you and who you are and how you show up in the world. I mean, so if we're just brave enough to let go, and really the letting go is inside. This is what I really want to explain. I want to explain that, this vehicle is everything. This is the millionaire. This is the relationship. This is everything, this body, because you are this library of information having an experience through this vehicle. And I can prove that because, I can say anything I want to you and about you, and you give it all the meaning, you. So it's all right here, and if we can just kind of forget everything here and just really go inward, that's that idea of sovereignty. It means I'm self-governed. What am I feeling? Not thinking. Okay. And it's really important because, I don't want to get too much information. I tend to give a ton in one session, and I am going to come back, in 2 weeks. We're going to plan to do this every other week for a period of time. But I do want to express that you know, your thought is the blueprint of your creation. It is the paper or the canvas of what you're creating in your reality. And the emotion is the creator creation itself. It's the person and the pencil. And we're guided to only have thought. So we're guided to only have a blueprint and never have the creation part or the emotion connected to that. We're given the emotion to all things typically. So think about partnerships or maybe career, what you want to do. You typically have a thought about it, but the emotion very commonly is just towards the goal, or maybe towards making money or something like that. So it's not really like excitement and joy and so on for your life. That means that you're not really activating who you really are. You're not really engaging, your own uniqueness. You're not engaging the actual creator part of who you are. That comes through your emotion. So, we have to practice allowing ourselves to show up and feel, because this is what we're not guided to do. And I know a lot of people say, well, I feel, and I feel a ton of things. And we do. We feel a ton of things, but we don't allow ourselves to feel like those emotions of joy and excitement, exhilaration, and curiosity towards life and towards creating life. Whew. So why? Why do we not do this? So I'd like to open up to some kind of dialogues and questions, and answer some of the questions. If anybody has any questions, let's see. Oh, don't know, Rayania, are you?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, there is a question more general, but it said to you, dear Cathleena, how can we best prepare for this transformational and loving solar eclipse?
Hmm. Well, I'm not as familiar with astrology, in my particular energetics. But I'd say in any way, allowing yourself to let go of the mind. That's really the main thing. And the practice has to be, I got my feet on the floor. I'm looking out my eyes. I'm in my room. I'm in my space, but noticing that I'm in my head. And you want to start to notice, what is my thought and what is my emotion and what is that doing to this vehicle? So that's really the most important. Like, what's happening? What is my emotional frequency creating in this body? Am I tensing? Am I relaxed? Am I let go? And that's probably the most important thing, because if I'm tensing and I'm holding, then I'm not in the present moment. I'm not showing up as my authentic self. I'm actually in my head, and I'm aligning to something instead of allowing myself to be who I really am. That's what quantum entanglement is. That's when I forget that I'm source consciousness having an experience called Cathleena, and I become Cathleena instead. And it's like, well, who have I become? And this is what we're kind of waking up to. So I think in order to for any, whether it's an astrological event or whether it's just your day to day, it really is about noticing, what am I doing right here? What is happening to this vehicle? We're taught, forget what's going on in here and do everything out here. But out here is created by what's going on in here. We're taught, I'll believe it when I see it. But that's not how creation works. Creation works when I believe it, I will see it. So it's allowing yourself to let go and dream and feel and get to know yourself, get to know who you are. That's really I think the most powerful way, the most important thing to do in general, but it's the most powerful way of we'll call it any preparation for any now moment showing up. So that's really what it is.
That feels very beautiful. I feel that this question is also a good another way to continue that conversation. So Destin has asked that he has been noticing when something within me, an emotion is triggered, there's an energy that makes it spin and causes me to get out of heart. And can Cathleena see what that is, or generally for us?
Well, I mean, in this particular case, I can feel that it's just energetics. That's, the energetics that I'm feeling in this particular case is, it's a fear. It's just a fear element of the individual, but it does pertain to the collective in general. I think we tend to align ourselves unfortunately to levels of fear. I can feel a lot of mental energy going on here. So I'm going to begin to shift that a bit. But we don't realize who's the one in charge and who's the one actually in the body. Time is not linear, time is circular. So all of this lifetime, all lifetimes are actually happening all at once. And really very commonly, when we find ourselves in these energetics of fear and fear-based emotions and things, we're definitely not present, but we're more so might be in another time frame of our being. We're usually different ages of ourselves that are showing up and experiencing this now moment as that age. So when I'm feeling this person, it's destiny. Actually, I can feel, this is that younger version of yourself that is just scared. And I can feel it definitely in the solar plexus area. And so, every time that person comes forward, that same age comes forward, there's no that age doesn't have resources to release this fear level. So what has to happen is we have to bring that part of ourselves into our heart, into the now moment, and open our eyes and recognize, in this now moment, in this now space, I'm safe, I'm good, I'm comfortable, and be able to dialogue that to that aspect of ourselves that's inside, going in that spinning in that turmoil. And this is something that happens with many people, when we go into those places of panics and fears and so on, we're not in the present moment. We can be in different lifetimes, different time frames, but we're in an energetic field that is literally taken us out of our heart space, out of the 0 point. And so the way to solve that is just to get very present. This is the first thing. This is something that I share a lot. And I actually have a small book called The Pocket Guide to Presence that's you can find it on my website. But in it has little techniques of getting and staying present. And some of the things in there are some of the simple things where you wake up in the morning and, your head starts taking off into your day, and you bring yourself back and you ask yourself, like, what am I wearing? Why did I choose this? What color is it? And then your head takes off again, you come back. And, you notice your bed, you notice your sheets, and you have to really practice being present, because we're not guided to be present. We're not guided to be, the creator beings that we are. We're guided to be, just kind of hamsters on the wheel, constantly spinning the wheels and searching through the head. And you want to think about the brain is just like a computer, and it only has what I feed in it. But the heart space has all knowing. And when I'm able to be there, that's when I can really allow myself to feel. I can encourage myself just to keep my heart open and just feel. we're not taught to feel, to allow ourselves to feel, and we're certainly not taught to allow ourselves to feel the frequencies of joy and excitement and exhilaration, curiosity. We keep being aimed at, the frequencies of fear and lack and shame and worry and all these types of things. And it's all based on belief systems, limited belief systems that we're constantly perpetuating. So I know that was a lot, but I felt important to bring forward.
Yeah, that is actually very beautiful. And there's another comment that talks about that her lower chakras are like needs attention. And I wonder, because in this case of Destin, it's about solar plexus, but I wonder if Cathleena can also address, very often when we are at a younger age, when we felt not safe or we felt not belong, and so that pertain to first base chakra or the second chakra. And is that similar in the sense that how do we heal or integrate that part of our younger self through the chakra?
Well, let me see if I can feel into what is actually being asked there. I feel like what's coming forward is to, in the lower chakras, what I'm experiencing, I mean, there's just so many things that are coming forward, but what wants to come forward right now is just really about how we do not allow ourselves to recognize that we are one with this earth. We feel we're on it and we're separate and we're alone. And that's when the lower chakras seem to shut down. There's like this pulling up, and then the energy tends to push up into the solar plexus, and we identify there and we hold. There's like this holding pattern that I feel that happens, that we do that. And we do that because we have this definition that it's not safe. It's not safe in this world. It's not safe for me to be free. It's not safe. And it's interesting because I've shared this sort of this example many times in a lot of sessions that I have. But in order for us to create a physicality, we are creator beings, and as I've said before, we are consciousness, and consciousness is information. And how we create literally is through our thought and our emotion. And as a creator being, there's so much energy here going. I'm starting to lose my thought of where I'm going with this. We if in order for us to create a physicality and something physical through our thought and our emotion, we have to have a kind of container. And so, we have around us, we have, of course, our auric field, but we also have these templates, like we have our oversoul, and then we have our monadic template, and so on. And so it's like these containers. And we need a kind of container in order to create a physicality, because consciousness is just information, exchanges information with each other, and it would just expand. And so think of the container as like the egg and the sperm, where the egg is information, the sperm is information, and they exchange with each other. So the sperm enters into the egg, but the information ends up exchanging and creating on top of each other, creating kind of a physicality, because the egg has this kind of container around it. Well, so do we. And if we thought about that container like in a room, and if we had in the room, like in the corner of the room, if we had a candle lit, and so that would mean that, like, in the room, we have 25% of the room is light. That means 75% of the room is dark. And so the difference between light and dark is information. And light is information, dark is absence of information. In this case, that information would be you. So if that were your body, it'd be like, I have 25% of my body is me, 75% is something else. And what is that something else? It's my parents or the collective. It's all these different belief systems. Well, if, in the scenario of the room, all I have to do is expand that light across the room and all the darkness goes away. Well, that's the exact same thing within my body. Is all I have to do is breathe and allow my light to move through my entire body and all the darkness goes away. And same with fear. And the idea of like having the lower chakras shut down and the disconnect from the earth is the inverted matrix kind of convincing you that there's fear. And with fear, what we do is we pull away. But what happens is if I pull away with fear, I actually create more of it. It's because that's why the old adage, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. But if instead I breathe and let go and I allow myself to have an experience. And so from just like the little human perspective, it's like when I can notice that it's my mind telling me what I can and can't do, and it's not safe and it's not whatever here. But if I allow myself to truly feel, let my feet be on the floor, take deep breaths, be present, then I'm expanding my own light. I'm literally connecting down. Now I can have an authentic experience of my own and recognize that, that's just a story. That's just a story being told to me. Because how do I know, unless I'm physically in a place that is, that that harm could happen to me and I need to literally remove myself, um, you know, that's just a story being told to me. And that's the game of the false matrix, is that, to pull away. When you feel fear, you pull away. But if I went towards it, I actually decrease it, I release it. And so this is kind of key about when you talk about the lower chakras in the body or the connectedness. It's all about letting go. It just really is. We are already source consciousness. All we're doing in human existence is matching frequencies in order to be comfortable. That's all we're doing. And we are vibrating as the highest frequency there is. We are source consciousness. But when we don't recognize that, what we're doing is we're shrinking our light into that little tiny space, like in the room. And then we're being occupied by all these other energies and belief systems. It's like literally inside yourself, you've got this whole bunch of people and things just dictating and telling you and so on. And you're just shrinking yourself more and more and listening to all of this in this idea that it's not safe, it's not whatever. And so in order to just change that, we just start to recognize and just expand my breath. Just use your breath. Because energetically, that is what's moving that away from you. It is moving it out of your field and allowing you to feel the truth that I am connected as the earth. I am one with the core of the earth. It's only my mind that's telling me I'm not.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think some people say that's the information they exactly need to hear. So I wanted to ask a question, like actually sort of like when we were, that there are many ways when people are stepping into our own healing, then they could work with the lower chakras. And I love what you talk about the breathing. So so one of the ways that when people breathe into their own chakras or breathe into their own heart, would you like say that's also like like connecting with our own body in a way that brings the healing?
Yes, but I'm not sure exactly what you're asking me.
Yeah, I guess the question is that so I know there are ways that people are suggested to work with their own chakras, like work with their own root chakra, for example, breathe it in or visualize the healing. And I'm wondering if that is also, like from what you explained, to breathe into our body, to breathe into the connection with the earth. How is that sitting in the context, or is that in alignment to what you are bringing forward?
Well, what I'm feeling, we are one with the earth. And so, the water in our body is the same water that's on the earth. And so how you feel and think about that water on the earth is how you feel and think about the water in your body. We're one and the same. And this is where we don't really get who we really are. We're energy and frequency, and all is energy and frequency. It's all consciousness. And so there's either going to be a synergistic communication or a non-synergistic communication. So you want to think about, like the body is like a giant mall of people. And so, how am I communicating with this body? Am I in synergy? Am I like, dialoguing something negative? What is my dialogue? And it's not just my verbal, it's like, what are my thoughts? What is my feeling? How am I interacting with this body and with, my chakra systems, whatever. This is what we're waking up to. This vehicle is basically your earth, this body, and it is one with the earth. And this is where humanity has not been aware. When we just pluck a leaf off a tree or do whatever, we don't realize that, that's consciousness, that's energy, that's us, that we're connected to all of this. We're one with all of these things. And so I think what you're talking about as we practice really getting present and really, allowing yourself to experience this vehicle, you'll start to experience how you really are taking in information, all that's around you in many, many, many different multidimensional ways. And even like with this live stream or with this computer, the computer, it's interesting because you talk about community. I mean, this computer actually is bringing in groups of people and bringing us together, but it is us. I mean, the original binary code, the dots and the dashes, is the male and female. It is, everything is you, and we just don't realize it. How am I engaging? What am I doing? There's no separation with anything. So I think when you're talking about connecting to your body and connecting to all things, it is definitely through the breath, through just through your awareness of just through your own awareness in general, of your, I can feel it's too much mental energy here. Sorry, I'm just feeling so many people going into the mental energy here because I'm losing them. So I'm just going to take some breaths and just really bring this into the heart space. And just remember, what is really the heart space we're talking about? It's the present moment without judgment. It's not trying to figure it out through the mind and listen through the mind. Let the body feel it. We are multidimensional. We're energetic. We're picking up information on many, many different ways. We're all about energy and frequency and vibration. And so when we can relax, when we can breathe, when we can open our energetic field, then we can have an awareness about, what am I aligning to? Because remember, I am source consciousness having an experience called Cathleena. I am not Cathleena, and so what is that experience? And as I become the witnessing observer of myself through my breath, I'm letting go. Then I can experience like the things around me. What do I have around me? Who am I? And it's all through the breath and through the heart space. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's one more question about, or someone is feeling anger and feeling stuck, and he or she feels very emotional and teary in your presence. Mm-hmm. So overall, she feels trapped by what I'm ruminating, in like caught in a net. I want to be free.
Yeah.
Could you share something?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's beautiful that you're having the emotions, and that's definitely coming forward because I am, in the field and I'm representing, pure source consciousness and just showing up. I just want everybody to just take some breaths. Let's just take some breaths. I just want to expand this field a little bit more. There's just so much energy here, being on the internet like this and being live and having just all of the energetics. There's so much going on here, and it'd be too much for me to try to explain it in particularly this what wants to come forward today. But that feeling of feeling trapped, feeling that's the mind. And I'm just going to move some of that energy. Just take some deep breaths, because that's just the mind dialoguing you. That is significant of you not being in the present moment and not allowing yourself to really let go and be in the heart space. Because what happens is that we have what I call the false neutrality. It's definitely coming through the throat, because this is about who you are. It's about who everyone is. This is really what we're all doing. And the false neutrality is when, I feel like I got my feet on the floor and I'm looking out my eyes and I'm in my space, but I'm in my thought, in my head, and I'm in that thought of the nothingness instead of the no thing and all possibilities. The 0 point is the no thing and all possibilities. The nothingness is the empty space. And that's just that's the head. So what needs to happen in that particular space, sorry, I need to clear my throat here because there's just a lot of energy. This is really hitting a lot of people in the throat. And when that happens, this is who you really are. So I'm just feeling that clearing as I'm sharing this with you. But in order for us to move out of that space of that hopelessness, that emptiness feeling, and that feeling stuck, is to notice that it's really not a feeling at all. It's a thought, and it's the thought that I don't know. I don't have the answers. I can't know. And so, but you're adding the emotion of hopelessness or trapped to that thought that I don't know. But I could give a different emotion to that through my own heart space, through what I feel. So the example might be, I could say, oh my God, I don't know where my money's coming from. Or I could go, well, I don't know. I don't have any idea. And so in the space where I don't know, that's the unknown, that's the 0 point. And remember, if your thought and your emotion is what's creating it, well, if I allow myself to be in the unknown and I say, well, I don't know, then I could start to think, well, I could win the lottery, or I could have an inheritance, or anything could happen. And I could allow myself to feel that excitement and that exhilaration, those choices. So this is really where we have to notice on what have I aligned myself to. This is what quantum entanglement is. This is this place when I forget that I'm really source consciousness having an experience, and I become the experience. So we start dialoguing our life, like, I don't know, I don't have my choices. And we go into that place of like, instead of going, well, I don't know because I haven't had the experience yet, because I haven't let myself go, because I'm not actually having the experience. We're just little kids on the playground. That's all we are. And when we can just show up as that, we can allow ourselves just to show up. I mean, this is what we don't do. Then you can discover it. Then it can take you in directions. But we're so guided to be playing out these major frequencies, and the major frequencies that we're guided to play out all the time are enslavement, imprisonment, and sacrifice. These are the major frequencies. We're enslaving ourselves within ourselves. We're sacrificing ourselves and imprisoning ourselves within ourselves. We sacrifice our health for money. We sacrifice in relationships all the time. We're constantly dialoguing these things to ourselves. And why are we doing this? And this is what I'm here in representing, through dialoguing, through in the representation of this energetic field of which I chose to incarnate as, to bringing you, to just stepping into this field, to be able to have an opportunity to let go, let go, let go, let go. That's really what it is. It's like, allow for the unknown to become known by your own unique signature. Imagine that you are, like a puzzle piece that has infinite calibrations to this puzzle piece. And that as you let yourself go, which is literally what happens, that thing moves all the time, which is what you are. And then anything that's around you that's in synergy, it just clicks in and goes smooth, nice, smooth things. But instead, what we're doing is we're this puzzle piece and we're holding it and we're keeping it in a certain calibration all the time. So we're constantly aligning to the things that, we may not want all the time. But it is in the letting go that movement takes place, and it allows it to synergistically connect in to all things. Divine abundance is your birthright. Perfect health is really all part of your given. It's who you are. We're not broken, but we often feel it. And I get it. I'm not saying that we don't have challenges and that we don't have life experiences and there aren't a lot of things going on. I get it. Of course there are. But the number one piece of this is this body. Okay, if I can begin here, if I can realize that I am energy and frequency, and if I could just really get how the creative process works, I truly am a creator being. Literally the way that it works is that I take this consciousness called me and I download it into my physical brain and I communicate it with the body. And then through my thought and my emotion, it creates, when you take a thought and you add an emotion and you hold it 14 seconds or longer, then it moves into the unified field, which is the place of all frequencies. It finds a match there, goes out into the universe and comes back into your reality. So quite literally, your existence is created by your thought and your emotion. So the beauty of that is when I can just notice and I start to take charge, some of the things I think are important, especially when we're feeling that desperate, and that loss, it's like we have to start taking charge of our mind. So we have to, treat our mind like you would your home, like you wouldn't just let somebody come in your home and kick your dog or do whatever. So why are we letting this in our minds? What are you doing? We want to start to notice. And there's just so much to that because we become addicted to the things that we're allowing in our mind. We have to own how our current situation is serving us because your current situation in your energy field is serving you in some way. And you have to become aware of that, even when it's places that you feel like, oh my God, I want to get out of this. But there's a reason that you're choosing to stay in it, your source consciousness. And it's not about good or bad, right or wrong. It's about releasing all the judgment. It's about giving yourself permission to just take the time to just experience you. Just be like inside you quiet and like, what am I doing? Get to know, who am I? What am I doing? What's happening here? Ah, beautiful.
It is beautiful. Do you feel that we have time to answer one more question?
Sure. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So I think it's a question that will help many others as well. Michelle asking, Cathleena, I've been enjoying awakening through a lot of learning and growing spiritually over several months. Now I'm feeling like it will never be enough. I would love any guidance.
Well, what is enough? What are we really saying there? Enough for what? What is my end game? What is my goal, if you will, in this? Is it to be something, or is it just to be? I think that's the bigger aspect of this. I don't. What I believe and feel that we're here for is just the experience of whatever that is, whatever experience that we choose. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's simply an experience. And so, my desire personally is to have an amazing, beautiful experience, to feel love, to feel light, to feel genuine, to feel truly what it feels like as the law of one. And I have to say that, as we continue to awaken and we continue to remind ourselves who we really are, and we are awakening in this ascension process, it is about remembering the law of one, there is this amazing feeling that happens with that, because I'm privy to having felt it and feel it, of what it really feels like to have that feeling that everything truly is one in the energetics. And it's just it's a feeling of breath and light and peacefulness. It just is, it's a feeling of isness, you know, that we all are and have, but we don't allow ourselves through dialogue. It's just through dialogue. And so I know that this is super easy and super hard at the same time. And, you know, I will say that on my website, I have a lot of courses that are there. They're all done in the 0 point, and they're all designed to help with all of this. You know, that one of the series that I'm doing now is this Brain and Body series, and it's releasing these original imprints and bringing back soul fragments. A soul fragmentation is when I forget that I'm source consciousness and I become something, and whatever I become, I literally fragment my soul and I attach it to that imprint. And that's why it's a repetitive thing. And how I can bring that back is through releasing that imprint and bringing back that soul fragment. And how I do that is through my heart complex, through who I am, through allowing myself to get to know who I am, to realize, you know, do I really believe that? What do I really feel? You know, and as I do that, I'm releasing that imprint and I'm bringing back that soul fragment. And this is what we're doing, you know, and so this process of awakening is just bringing back, bringing home all of these soul fragmentations of these belief systems, you know, of where we've aligned. And this can be complicated to people, because we're just so taught that we're just this person, and we're, you know, we've got this brain, we're running around. I mean, but that is so not what we are. We're so much more than that. And so when we have this 3D reality that we think that we're limited to, this can seem complicated. And so the way out of it is you've got to unplug from it. And that's dropping into that 0 point. We've got to allow ourselves to get present. We've got to allow ourselves to have authentic experiences. So I think that is the process of awakening and growing, and that is the journey here to me. To me, that is the experience. So I think it's a perfect, beautiful thing. It's what we're here for.
Yeah, so beautiful. I feel like E27 was saying her heart is full. I also feel like, you know, we're entering a very calm space.
Very calm space.
Back in the 0 point.
Back in the 0 point. And I want to, you know, we're going to come to a close here in just a couple of minutes. And so I'm just going to move in the energy here just for a minute, because I'm just going to do a little bit of clearing for everybody who's here, and for anybody who will watch this later, because there just seems like there's a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, a lot of energetics, and I want to just move them in a different way than through this verbal, because this verbal dialogue in the human English language, or whatever language, is very, very limited within itself. I'm just going to talk to you and bring and communicate to you further on a lot more deep levels of who you are and why you're here. That's great. Just going to open that field. I'm going to disconnect from any of the hive mind consciousness. I'm just going to expand this light. Deep deeper, beautiful, lighter. And I am going to remind you all to like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue this beautiful co-creation over however long and let it become organic. See what wants to show up, see who wants to show up. We're creating the true law of one, pure synergy, pure light, pure love, and and sharing too. And I will have a lot more to share as it's coming forward. But for today, just going to bring in more light. And so much gratitude, and gratitude for everybody that came and everybody that's here. And thank you, Rayania, for sticking in with me, even though we had to do this in this very unusual, strange way. I'm going to figure out this YouTube somehow. And
Yes, well, thank you so much. It's been an honor and pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, and I love all of you, and hope to see you guys all again. So thank you.